Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Strongman, and today we're going to talk about closing costs if you want to buy a house soon, okay? I know from personal experience that closing costs are a lot of freaking money, and they have nothing to do with your down payment. They are in addition to your down payment. I recently bought a townhouse for approximately $254,000 in a great city in the state of Virginia, okay? And I used a VA loan, so I didn't have to do a down payment. But even then, I still had to pay closing costs to actually seal the deal. So if you're buying a house and you don't have a VA loan, you're going to have to pay at least 20% down, in most cases, to get a conforming loan, to get a conventional loan, with 20% of the home's value. And then you're going to have to pay closing costs on top of that. So you're going to have to save a boatload of cash to actually buy a frickin' house, okay? Which is why I think houses are terrible investments. But that's another topic for another time. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over my specific closing costs. And keep in mind that I actually got seller concessions when I purchased my home. So what that means is the seller will pay part of your closing costs to sweeten the deal, make it slurpy and delicious and encourage you to buy the home, okay? So the seller actually takes on your closing costs. And if you're buying a home, and especially if it's a, pretty bad market for sellers, you should definitely ask for some seller concessions because it can definitely save you a boatload of money. For me, it saved me about $5,000. So I'm pretty happy I got them, okay? So we're going to go through this list that I have. This is my documentation. Don't look at my social. Don't you do it. We're going to go through this list, and we're going to talk about some closing costs, okay? Now, the first closing cost that I had to pay was an origination fee for $2,540, and I paid that, not the seller. Now, what the hell is an origination fee? That is a fee charged by your loan, your bank, your loan officer, whoever gives you the loan, as a certain percentage of the loan, or a flat fee. And what that does is that compensates the mortgage originator for actually selling you the loan, okay? So in my case, I paid a 1% loan origination fee to the mortgage officer, to the loan company, to the bank, whatever, just to compensate him for the privilege of giving me a loan, which I'm also paying interest on, okay? So that's one thing you want to watch out for is loan origination fees. Now, is 1% high? I don't know. When I compared loans, it didn't seem that high. Maybe you can find a better deal, oh, you're so stupid. You paid 1%, I paid 0.9%. Well, good for you, okay? I paid a 1% origination fee. So right off the bat, you're paying a loan origination fee as part of your closing costs. In my case, 1% of the loan amount, $2,540, okay? Moving on. The appraisal. Your home has to get appraised by your loan company. So they're going to come and they're actually going to confirm that your house is actually worth what the seller is selling the house to you for. Because the company doesn't want to loan you a ton of money for a house that's worthless. That could potentially screw them over. So they actually send somebody out to appraise, to look at the house and say, okay, I think it's worth this much. How they do that, I don't know. Maybe they compare properties next to yours, or they look at tax records or whatever. But they send somebody out who probably, checks a box, sits outside for 10 minutes, smokes a cigar, and then leaves. That was $525. But the seller paid for that. Seller concessions. $525 just for an appraisal, okay? I didn't even see the guy. He probably didn't even come. He probably just looked at the tax records. But you need to be prepared to pay that at a minimum for an appraisal fee, okay? Or have your seller pay it. The next one, credit report fee. I guess they ran my credit and they had to charge me $70 for it. Okay. Flood certificate fee, $10. Do I know what that is? Flood certificate? Am I certified to be flooded? I don't know. But I paid $10 for it, okay? Should have made the seller pay that. Next, moving on. The title, clearing, exam, and search fee, $158. So basically you have to buy the title to your home. Basically says that you own the home, or you have a right to the home. And you have to actually purchase a title insurance policy. It's actually mandated, or at least to my understanding, it's mandated by the loan officer, whoever's selling you the house. And what it does, as it was explained to me, is that if somebody else has a claim to your land, let's say 10 generations ago, Becky Sue from somewhere in England actually purchased this land, and she actually has a deed or a title or whatever from the government that says she actually owns this land. Well, if that gets lost, and many years later, somebody finds it and it's like, hey, I'm Becky Sue's aunt or descendant. I actually own this land. I have this title. I have this deed from the government from 10 generations ago. They actually have a claim against your land. And what this title insurance policy does is it protects you financially in the event that there's some kind of legal kerfluffle over who actually owns the land, okay? So you got to pay a bunch of stuff for titles, all right? So I paid title, clearing, exam, search fee, $158. Closing protection letter, $35. Must have been an expensive piece of paper. Doc prep, $75. Some clerk probably typed it for 10 minutes at a wage of $10 an hour, and I paid $75 for that. The lender's title policy, $773, which I believe lasts your entire life. The settlement or closing fee, $550, and the survey fee, $375, for a total of $2,000, almost $2,600, just for title crap. Okay, it's kind of ridiculous. Whatever. All right, moving on. So, taxes, the recording fee, $109. State mortgage tax and stamp fee, $1,693. What the hell is that? Whatever, Virginia. Transfer taxes, $254. That's actually from my local government. So I guess my city, whenever you buy a house, you have to pay 1/1000th of its value or sales price in transfer taxes, because it was $254. Like that math? All right. And the fun doesn't even end. We're still going through the list here. Homeowners insurance. I had to pay a year of that up front. I paid $429, and then the seller paid $110. All right. Prepaid interest. So I paid $281 between May 18th and June 1st, 2020. So basically, my understanding of prepaid interest is you have to pay the interest on the home, or on the mortgage, even before you actually pay your first payment. So if you have title to the home, if you own the home, you have to start paying interest on the loan as soon as that closing happens. And then eventually you pay your first payment. But the bank still wants their money. So in order to do that, you have to pay prepaid interest. So depending on how many days in the month, let's say you close at the beginning of the month, but your payment isn't until the beginning of the next month, you're going to pay almost a full month's worth of prepaid interest. Whereas if you close at the end of the month, you're not going to pay almost anything in prepaid interest. It's calculated on a daily rate. So keep in mind, if you want to avoid prepaid interest, you want to close later in the month, typically. Okay? All right, moving on. And we have homeowners insurance. Had to pay 3 months of that up front, $135. Property taxes, had to pay 2 months up front, $476. And more. There's more. HOA, $100. More HOA, $185. And holy crap. All right. So that's basically like the sum of the closing costs that a buyer could potentially pay. But when a real estate agent helps you buy or sell a home, they're going to get compensated for that. So in my example, when I bought this home, the real estate agent was actually compensated by the seller. Typically, it's like 5.5% to 6% of the home sales price. And if you have two agents, one representing the buyer and one representing the seller, they might split that down the middle. but it's a pretty huge expense that a seller has to pay. So in our case, our seller paid $7,600 just to one agent, and then paid an additional $6,350 to another agent. So total, the seller paid about $14,000 just in freaking commissions, all right? That's outrageous. So if we look at all this, the total that I actually had to pay was $4,000 in closing costs. And that was after I got a $5,000 credit because the seller gave me seller concessions. So when you're buying a home, you need to be ready to pay this BS, okay? You might not get seller concessions. You might have to pay $10,000 just in freaking closing costs, okay? That money's gone. Poof! Can't buy stocks with it. Can't buy more stocks with it. Can't buy even more stocks with it. It's gone, okay? You need to be prepared for that, which is why buying a home sucks, okay? So hopefully that was a good comprehensive review of closing costs. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like it, like the video, subscribe, and you can drop me a comment if you have any questions about my closing costs, okay? And don't steal my social. Have a wonderful day.